Welcome back, Mail-In listeners. This is the Mail-In Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. To my right, the lovely Sally deFries. What's up, Sal? How are you? I'm trying to do I don't want to have the intro be so monotone and just so the same every time. So I'm trying to switch it up.
Maybe next week I'll do the intro.
Happy to.
Yeah.
You got anything in mind for it?
No. I'll think about it over the next week.
Okay. What's going on? How's things?
Things are great. Things are great.
What's that look for?
I'm just still in my retinol uglies phase, okay? So
There's a question that you might have to dig into.
Well, I haven't looked at any of the questions. Again.
Oh, firing from the hip today.
Firing from the hip, as always. Because I'm just in it. All I do is feed my child and record this podcast.
I guess, children.
Well,
Two of them now.
I mean, I feed Fritz from like the grocery store.
Is he still in his like queso era?
Mm-hmm.
That's tight. It's like basically when you go to Matt's or any Mexican restaurant, you have like basically an iPad you can give to him. Just messier, I would assume.
Well, he gets an iPad and a queso, actually. We're iPad parents. I'm not going to like feel bad about being judged.
I think if you know your kid is going to function and sort of sit still better on a plane or in a restaurant, that's the iPad time. In my childless opinion, I think that's probably the move. I would subscribe to that as well.
I am just gonna put this out there. Fritz is a TV kid.
That's awesome.
Like when I have to get shit done or I'm taking care of our newborn child and like I need Fritz to not like mow him over with like whatever like toy he's playing with, he gets to watch TV.
I love it. I was a TV kid.
And I like the way Will and I like think about it. We're like, well, we all watched like 8 hours of TV a day. It turned out fine. I'm not like thrilled about it. Okay.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to like limit it. But if I like in the morning when there's too much shit going on and I need him to just chill for a second so I can get my shit done, he gets TV.
It's a great idea.
And I don't want people to feel guilty about it because I don't feel guilty about it. Power to the TV people.
This is me in solidarity with TV parents.
Yeah.
I turned out fine. I mean, we watched Nickelodeon. It was like wake up, watch Sports Center with my dad, go to school, come home, watch Nickelodeon, and then like go to hockey. I mean, Fritz is not hockey playing age yet, but
right.
But there was plenty of TV. We didn't have iPads though. That's a new thing in the parenting world.
Right.
But I feel like we had like little things. I mean, we had shit to do, right?
You do like colored and stuff.
Yeah. We had enrichment opportunities.
Yeah. The issue now though is that Fritz, he like gets stuck on one movie. We've talked about this. Like he watched Home Alone for like 8 months last year, from like November to like, I guess not 8 months, November to April. He was 6 months watching Home Alone. We had to like finally. So now he's watching this movie called Bolt.
What's Bolt about?
Randy, do you know what Bolt is?
Is it the animated superhero dog?
Yes, it is.
I believe Miley Cyrus is the
correct, and John Travolta.
She's the voice of the dog.
No,
she's the voice of the owner of the dog. I've seen Bolt about 20 times in the past week.
Oh wow! So Fritz has a bit of an addictive personality.
Yeah, he like locks in on one movie and then he gets over it. So I'm trying to like push him back to the Christmas movies now that we're like in November.
We're in the season, yeah.
And he's not having any of it.
Really?
I'm like pushing Home Alone 2. Thought we could like rope him back in with the wet bandits, the sticky bandits. He's not having it.
No kidding.
So we got to find a new Christmas movie for him to be into. So if anyone has suggestions, hit me up.
Is he into like Christmas movies of my youth? I think like the claymation stuff.
I haven't tried claymation with him.
Yeah.
I did put on the Santa Claus, which is one of my top 5 Christmas movies.
Santa Claus. Yeah.
And he's not into Tim Allen's comedy, unfortunately.
It's too bad. Will's gonna be disappointed by that.
Yeah, I'm a Michigan guy. So we gotta get some new.
Yeah, there's got to be like Charlie Brown,
also hasn't,
Christmas,
like, taken
and Rudolph,
into the,
and like Annabelle's Wish. That's a throwback for anybody who's out there.
He hasn't really taken to the Hallmark Christmas movies either.
I'm thinking like Grinch. Are we in Grinch territory yet?
Yeah, and so there's 2 Grinches. Did you know this?
I think there are more. I think
Well,
there are
there's like a
more.
lot, but there's the
Yeah.
Jim Carrey version.
Yep.
Which was like our childhood Grinch.
I'm thinking like there's OG like animation Grinch.
Well, yeah, there's the cartoon Grinch.
Yep.
From like, I don't know, the
50s,
50s.
60s.
It's probably
Make
sooner
America
than
great
that.
again, Sally.
then there's Jim Carrey Grinch, which I honestly really liked, and people forget throwback Taylor Momsen from Gossip Girl, Jenny. And then there was a Grinch like
yes.
5 years ago that has I don't even know who's in it.
That's the new. That's the
That's the
what do they
animated
call
one.
it? The live action. What is Randy?
It's just 3D animation.
Yeah.
What when somebody says live action Lion King,
But you know what? Live action Lion King is like
It's all CGI. Yeah.
CGI, like
versus animation.
Yeah.
3D animation is. Are you saying 3D animation is different than CGI?
Yes, 3D animations like Toy Story and Moana.
looks kind of like Pixar. Actually, the people who made this Grinch were the Illumination people who did Minions.
Gotcha. Okay. And
but like a live action would be like if Cinderella has actors and actresses in it, which they did do.
Okay. And it's like where people are in the suits that like track their movement,
No,
right?
that's not that.
Well, I mean, a little bit of it.
I'm thinking of like
Beauty and the
Avatar, right?
Yeah, that's live action. Like Beauty and the Beast was live action, but like the Beast
They
was
also
all
like
motion
humans.
capture stuff like that. So
Yeah.
technically, the new Lion King is live action because it's supposed to be realistic, but I mean, in reality, the whole thing is CGI. So that's a hard one to compare it to. But if it's 3D cartoony, that's 3D animation.
That is our animation correspondent, Randy Trembacki.
That was my major, so yes.
Okay, should we get to the questions?
Let's do questions, Sally.
Okay, great.
Hey, Brett and Sally. Well, actually, first I'll say subscribe, follow, all those things. Hit the hotline, 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or write in the Twitter bio at Mail In Podcast in the description of this episode as well. Here we go. Hey, Brett and Sally. My fiance and I, no big deal, congratulations, are currently planning our wedding and have been astounded by the costs. Both of our families are pitching in, but we are still not in love with the idea of spending so much money. We would rather have that money for our honeymoon, perhaps a down payment for a house, or maybe just a nest egg to get our life together started. We do still want to have a wedding, but have been considering more non-traditional options. One thing we've been recently very interested in is renting a large lake house or something like that on Airbnb for the weekend. The thought there being that we could still have a small setup for a ceremony, but we would be able to do more to tailor it to what we want. We're not very formal people, so we were thinking that it would be less stressful and more fun to make it more like a weekend-long party than a traditional wedding reception. There would be rooms for us and our grandparents and other family who can't get around so well to stay, activities for guests like cornhole and the fire pit, and just a more laid-back vibe. Regardless of what we end up doing, we want to keep it to around 60 people and feel like this would be an easy way to make it exactly what we want it to be. What are y'all's thoughts on non-traditional weddings like this? And is there anything we're not considering that could go wrong? Love you guys.
I mean, obviously, I'm a
classic
fan
here.
of this.
And a 21st century question that I think is applicable.
I think
more so now
honestly, non-traditional weddings are becoming more the norm / the tradition.
Yeah.
If you look back to like 90s, early 2000s, like Father of the Bride era, that's when everyone was like, I would say like the traditional wedding, what we thought of, where like you had a bachelorette party the night before the wedding, and
That
then
was
you
at the church, and
it
you
was
had the
a
country
church.
club, like
Yes.
ballroom, and that was that. But
that
it
was
also,
that, and it wasn't like the whole life of its own yet,
but it also didn't cost an arm and a leg.
right? Because it was like, I mean, it was like expensive, but it was not like this insane. I literally was watching
Correct.
Father of the Bride the other day where he talks about it being like $150 a head or it's $250 a head, but he thinks they said $150, which he thinks is astronomical, and $250 is also astronomical. That's not even like in the realm of possibility anymore.
Correct.
Because that was a traditional wedding where we were like, oh, it's a wedding, but it wasn't this like, it's going to take over my life situation. Then we entered like social media, Pinterest era.
Mhm.
And that's when weddings like took on this insane life. And I would say that would probably start in like the 2010 era.
I'm just gonna like, there's not really a movie that ushered that in, or it's more social media.
No,
that did
I
it.
think it literally started with Pinterest.
Yeah.
And then social media, because people were taking ideas and then seeing what other people were doing. And it like, once someone did the donut wall, other people have to do the donut wall, the blah, blah. So you started doing all these things, these extravagant things, or adding things to it that create astronomical cost. And it'd be not even by anybody's own fault, this like societal, like everyone has to compete with each other for this insane wedding. And every girl that is, in their mid-20s, mid-30s knows that like getting engaged then just means like the next year of your life is just going to be completely devoted to this like one event. Whereas, back in the 90s, early 2000s, you could like have a wedding and it wouldn't like take over your whole life.
It just seemed to be a lot less a la carte back in the day. You sort of like the package is what the package
Right.
is.
You like went to the country club, they did everything.
Yeah.
There was the one town photographer. You didn't
Mhm.
fly anybody in from LA to come like videographer your wedding. Now that's like, oh, you didn't get the florist who did Kim Kardashian's baby shower. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is now. Or at least it was. And then I think COVID happened. And then people were like, I think there was already kind of a turning of the tide anyway. But really, they were like, why are we spending this astronomical cost?
Yeah.
And more so now than ever, I see people who got married at the courthouse, or like, I'm one of 5 kids.
Mhm.
My oldest sister, me, and my youngest brother all are going to have a quote non-traditional wedding. Like Will and I did kind of what this guy's talking about. We had 50 people. My sister only had our immediate family. My brother is also going to only have our immediate family. In a situation where it's like, well, I want to do something baller, but I want to do it for myself and not for 400 people.
Totally.
But all that being said, I think now we're really ushering in an era, probably from this podcast and us telling everyone to do whatever the hell they want.
I'll take credit.
Of where I think you can do the full blown, I wouldn't even say Pinterest at this point, but like Instagram wedding, or you can do the courthouse, or you can have both. You can do whatever the hell you want. Who cares?
It's become a lot more customizable as tradition has sort of fallen off. I of the probably 25 weddings I've been to of like friends, I think 3 of them have been like, you go to the courthouse, you go to the reception, and a different like motorcade, and that's that. And like, ho hum, here we go. Everybody has something unique, or like, not maybe unique's not the right word, but something that's more laid back or like lower key, and it's not this formal march between like this formal process, I guess. And I think that's only going to continue as more options are available, and like venues have changed, and like the farmhouse kind of wedding has really taken hold, and the like the traditional country club banquet hall, I feel like it's like out of style in a way. And
I'm going to call this right now, though. I think the country club wedding is going to make a comeback.
Oh, well, I think it's all going to be market dynamics, right? It's like if the country club wedding is, you can get a 100-person wedding for 20 grand total. It's going to be like, all right, well, that's the option now.
Like if I was going to get married now, I almost want to do the exact like father of the bride wedding, which I would have done, but it would have been insanely expensive.
Sure, absolutely.
So all that being said, I think do whatever the hell you want.
Yes.
Don't feel bad about not spending money, or spending money, or do what you want. If you want to blow a wad of cash like on a wedding instead of a down payment, do that. If you want to buy a house instead of having a wedding, do that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any really drawbacks to this person's plan.
No.
The one thing I'll say, having had a wedding of 50 people, is that I had to be very cutthroat about who we could invite. Famously, you did not make the
but I did famously get the FaceTime.
You did get the only FaceTime of our wedding night.
I'm like the like bracketology, first 4 out. I got like the courtesy FaceTime.
You were the play-in game. There are probably 10 people that I would have loved to have.
Of course.
That because of the size of the venue, but like where we could have dinner, they were like, it's a hard cutoff at 50.
Sure. Totally.
So that was like and even now though, any of the people that we didn't invite that I would have loved to be there that never came in between us. Cause I think everyone, you included, who were not there were like, well, we understand. Like it was like Will's high school friends, your college friends. There was really no like wiggle room there.
Of course.
So that's my only drawback. But I think other than that, like it's about you. It always should be about you. And I think people start forgetting that because you cater to your mom or, the people coming in from out of town, and it becomes this whole life of its own. So try to bring it back to you and your fiance and like whatever y'all want where you can actually enjoy yourselves.
Totally agree. I think that if your heart's kind of already set on it, and it sounds like they basically have a plan in place, then go with it. And I mean, things you have to like look out for, so to speak, if you're just going to have a big lake house weekend, like maybe you designate a friend or an aunt, like an iPhone photographer. Hey, be cognizant of moments that are happening. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe you have to check with the Airbnb about having a tent in their backyard, right? Like some of the logistical stuff or side of things. And maybe you still try to get a hotel room block if it's long enough in advance so people can spend $200 a night versus 310. Like maybe there's little stuff like that,
right?
That you can sort of tie together. But if you're sort of set on this non-traditional thing, then go for it. I mean, it's like the wedding is, I think what wedding planning comes down to is, can you delineate between the wedding being for you and your significant other versus having a wedding for everybody else? And I think that our culture kind of, you flip-flop during the wedding process where it's like, I just want me and you to have like this moment and have our like cake or signature cocktail, and like I just want it to be us. And then there's like, well, Daphne did this, and so I think we should have this so everybody's happy. So there's a DJ, like, there's just stuff that you start wiggling on and you kind of lose the true north on it. And that's going to happen. I mean, that's culture, that's Pinterest, that's Instagram. Like, and there's so many options now too. It's like, well, we got to have the photo booth. That was so fun at Charlie's wedding. So we got to have that because that was a blast to see on Instagram after. And it's like, well, do you need it, or is it a fun want to? And maybe if there's $2,500 left over, you bring the photo. There's stuff that you can kind of pros and cons, or just stuff that's going to move the needle or not. Like, do you need the popcorn machine for 11 o'clock? I don't think so. Would it be fun? Sure. Do you need it? No. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just kind of like need it, want it, love it, don't love it. That goes into traditional and non-traditional weddings. So I'm all for it. I've kind of fallen into the, one day whenever I get married, I'm kind of going to be, I think, in the middle of, I want to have a lot of people because a lot of people have affected my life, especially kind of lately. In losing my folks. I want to have more people around that have supported me. But I don't see it being at a banquet hall. I see it more of something along these lines where it's like a spot where people can gather and stay and eat and
celebrate
drink and be merry. Like that's kind of my goal whenever I would get married. Obviously that would depend a lot on my future spouse. But that's kind of where I see it. So I think I'm with you and all for this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that I'm relatively new to, Sally.
Me too.
Not all drugs are created equal. Psilocybin, for example, when taken thoughtfully at sub-hallucinogenic levels, can sharpen your focus, hone your mental clarity, unleash your creativity, expand your mind, open your heart, and ease your anxiety. You shouldn't experiment with shrooms you got from your buddy's sketchy friend. Couldn't agree more. So that's why Schedule 35 takes a science-backed approach to microdosing shrooms. They precisely measure out every dose, they age verify every one of their customers, and they ship discreetly, and better yet, give you a microdosing regimen and guide that allows you to enjoy the benefits of psilocybin without any of the hallucinogenic effects. Personal experience time. I was sort of the ilk that shrooms were bad, shrooms were this, shrooms were that. I was unfamiliar until I watched a Netflix special about cancer patients, terminal cancer patients receiving psilocybin treatment to ease their anxiety about mortality.
Mm-hmm.
That turned me on to them. I wanted to try them for my dad, and unfortunately, it was too late. But that combined with my buddy who went to law school and had started microdosing as a function to work intrigued me enough that I tried them with the help of Schedule 35, and I have enjoyed my experience entirely and wholly, and truly it has decreased anxiety. It has made me more creative. It has uh, helped me enjoy a night out more or a canoe ride more. It's a really interesting tool that if you want to experiment with or if you want to uh, try it out per se, Schedule 35 is the perfect way to do it because you know exactly what you're getting. Um, you know exactly what's in it, and it's kind of the gateway in if you were looking for it. If not your thing, no worries at all. You can move on through this. But I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity with Schedule 35 that I've had and have really enjoyed it. So here's the deal: get 15% off your order with code MAIL. That's MAIL at schedule35.co. Again, that's 15% off at schedule35.co and use code MAIL. You want the next one, Sal?
Yeah, I've got it. Short and simple. All of my current interests bore me. I've done the same things every day for just shy of a decade, and I'm looking for new hobbies. How do I find new things to do? How do I keep myself from slipping back into the same old, same old? Thanks.
Usually routine helps build like confidence or comfort. This guy's like, no, get me out of my routine.
Yeah.
What do you
What are
think?
your hobbies?
What are my hobbies?
Yeah.
Um,
Would you consider hockey a hobby?
yeah, I think so. It's
Yeah.
it's obvious. I mean, for me, it's probably number one social tool.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, workout. Three, like love of the game, hobby.
Yeah.
I really enjoy like like golf. Obviously, is a hobby, but kind of the thing. Like I like maps are a big hobby of mine. Like I can go on Google Maps and just like search around all day.
Yeah.
Um, YouTube videos. Like I love learning about history. I love digging into things. I love writing television scripts,
Oh, yeah.
which is very much just a straight up hobby of mine. It's a kind of a creative outlet that nobody sees and nobody hears about, and I enjoy doing it. But yeah, those are three big ones. What about you?
I always laugh about this because when you watch Great British Baking Show
Yeah.
and they show these bakers who are amateurs, so like technically it's a hobby because they're not
Mhm.
professional bakers. I was
Okay.
gonna say pro bakers, but then I'm like, are they like pro bakers?
Sure.
Anyway, they always have also insane hobbies. They are bakers, which like to be a good baker takes a lot and is a hobby. But then they like one of them like is a forager, and then like they have like these insane gardens, and someone else like collects or like goes to classic car shows, like all these like insane things. You're like, where are you finding the time? Because you
Mhm.
already like are doing this one hobby that takes up all your time,
Sure.
which has made me realize lately that I don't have hobbies. I mean, I have like one hobby, which is like reading, I guess.
Okay. Well, you also have two children.
I have
That's
two
like
children.
there's some things there, but
Reading is probably my number one hobby, if you would call that a hobby. But like, I read way more now in the past probably year and a half than I like ever did
okay.
since being out of school.
I feel like I could name some of your hobbies. Like you're a charcuterie board queen, and like you enjoy.
I do enjoy cooking, but
Yeah.
it's like, again, one of like the things that I think is more of a necessity
Mhm.
than like something I mean, I enjoy it, but it's not like I'm also doing it for the good of my family. Here are hobbies I'm interested in. And this is
Okay.
what I think I should tell this guy, girl, don't know. Find a couple things you're interested in and then just like take a class. Cause this is where I have not done
Okay.
the legwork. One thing I really want to do is like learn to throw pottery.
Ooh. Okay.
A girl that I went to college with who lives in Sonoma or now San Francisco, shouts to Lindsay, like got really into pottery when she was living in Sonoma. She would post all of it, and I was like, this is amazing. Like she literally made like all of her own like dishes, which
Mhm.
is great. I
Very
would
cool.
love to do
Very
that,
cool.
especially because if you get good at it, you can like just make your own shit or
Of
give
course.
gifts to people. Uh, Another one of my friends, shouts to Erin, is a phenomenal sewer.
Didn't she makes her own clothes, right?
Makes her and her
That's
husband's own clothes,
crazy.
and now her child. And like they all look amazing. And Will, every time we see them, is like, why don't you learn how to sew? Which takes up so much time. She did it like she started, I think, right before COVID. So then she had all this time to like hone that skill. And now she's so good. Like literally we'll see something and be like, I'm just gonna make that instead of buying it.
Crazy. Didn't you have an embroidery kick for a second?
Lily and I tried to become embroiderers.
Okay.
It did not go well. And this
Okay.
is the thing, like this is why it's so confusing. Cause like an embroidery machine, and now they're so digitized, you're just like, this is what I want to do. And you like load the thing on the hoop and you just put it in there. To be fair, I never tried it. We bought the machine together and Lily was the one doing it because I was at work and
Okay.
she was at home. We broke like 8 needles and then we're just like, screw this, we're taking this thing back.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like it can't be that difficult, but I still can't figure it out. And then the last hobby, what was I going to say? I had 3 and now I don't remember what they are.
That's my I
You
derailed
totally
I derailed
sidetracked
you.
me.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, if I think of it, I will mention it. But it's just things that I've like seen where I'm like, I kind of want to try that. And then, I remember what it is. I really want to learn sign language.
Oh, that's cool.
Really bad.
Okay.
And like I say it to Will all the time because I do have deaf patients. Most of them can like read lips and stuff, so I never really have to like go out of my way to like do anything.
Got you.
But I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
I have some friends who have like no American Sign Language.
Mhm.
I obviously like probably should put my skills towards like relearning Spanish because that would really help me in my everyday life. But I just think it'd be really awesome to learn American Sign
That's a great
Language.
one. That's a great one. I think when he asked, like, how do I keep myself from slipping back? I think it's sort of it comes down to cultivating your interests. So like there's like a scale, right? That idea, interest, hobby, profession, like livelihood, right? There's like kind of a sliding scale
Right.
here. And so you take things that you're like, oh, I'm interested in. It's sort of like finding if you're starting a new career, finding a new job. So what am I interested in over here? And cultivating that into a hobby is like maybe watching YouTube videos on it or looking at your Instagram Discover feed and what is it? Like what's in there besides like cool sunsets or whatever? Like what do you find yourself, maybe you don't even realize you're super interested in, but can cultivate? And maybe
Yeah.
it's something to do, maybe it's something physical like yoga or working out. Maybe it's something artistic like guitar. You know, I love playing guitar or piano or something like that. Or
Maybe
are you
it's
looking for a
spending your
new
money on a bunch of records like Will.
record stuff? Absolutely, right. Like maybe it's are you looking for a hobby? Are you looking for a challenge? Are you looking for something to spend time? I was going to say waste time, but my gamer over there in the chair was not going to be like, oh, if you see video games is not a waste of time.
It's a social thing. We were just talking about this last night.
We
I was
were.
playing with James and J-Bone. It's like video games to us now are social. We don't play
I
single player
agree.
games.
I agree. It's
How dare you?
It's therapeutic,
I'll
but
come at you. Social
I
media.
caught myself. It's not a waste of time. It's a use of time if you want to play video games. So I think how do you keep yourself from slipping back to the same old? It's trying things and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Try the YouTube videos. Try the master class.
Take a class.
Try
person.
going for a run or try the erg machine. Like do something for the first time and experience something for the first time and see what you think.
Yeah.
Does it hook you? Great. Does it not? On to the next one.
We've
Ask
had,
your friends what hobbies they like.
we've had a similar question in the past. I've always said just go on TikTok and Instagram Reels to find a new hobby. I get served so many ones. Just look at hashtags
Yeah,
and stuff.
you'll
find something
have-
very easily.
You might be hobby maxed out.
I am.
Your hobbies,
You're
I
a
mean,
plant
my
dad.
God.
This is my thing. I always like I have finished this project. Like I get so like frustrated that I have to finish it. And as soon as I finish and have nothing to do, I'll spend one weekend completely free and just be like, I need something to fill my time. I have nothing to do.
You go start going owl hunting in your apartment complex.
I found it.
Yeah.
It only took a day.
Okay, should we do the next one?
Let's do it. Brett and Sally, I got a little story for you here, Randy. You'll like this one. You know the drill. First time, long time. I'll keep it tactical. No, he does not.
Spoiler alert, he does not keep it tactical.
I'm in my late 20s and was on a flight last night flying to a new city where I'll be spending a few weeks for work. The energy could not be better. I partook in exactly one beer, queued up a movie on the seat display in front of me, and was ready to enjoy the next 4.5 hours. As the flight attendant, who looked right around my age, began handing out headphones, I smiled and outstretched my hand as she passed down the aisle. She pushed it back. She goes, "No, you don't get one."
Wow, sexual.
I awkwardly laugh it off with the other passengers sitting around me. She circles back 10 seconds later and hands me the headphones. No big deal. 20 minutes later, as the drink service is taking place, the cart gets to me, and the same flight attendant goes, "No, you don't get one." Again, but then hands over my Diet Coke. She extends her hand, introduces herself, asks why I'm traveling to this city, etc. She explains how she's newly moved to that city as well, doesn't like it as much as her last hometown, then asks what I do, and it's all just very casual chit-chat. I'm newly single and am obviously aware enough when someone's flirting with me, but this is still very new. I make some conversation. It all goes well. If it ended here, fine. Ego boost at the most. Very much a "I still got it" reminder. 5 minutes later, Randy, she drops a free snack box in my lap as she's passing by. The guy sitting across from me turns over and just mouths, "Nice." So me and him are just losing it. Again, ego boost, and it's all fun and games. Another 5 minutes goes by. After that, she drops a napkin on my tray with her name, a heart, and her number. At this point, I'm just sitting there with a stupid smirk on my face because this is playing out way too perfectly. The rest of the flight goes normally. No more interactions. I deplane, pick up the rental car, and when I get in the garage, hit her with a, quote, 8.5 out of 10 flight. The service made up for the turbulence. Great meeting you. Let me know if you'd want to grab a drink while I'm here for the month. Text. I get nothing. Again, I'm new to the flirt game, but did I break this? Love the pod. Washed forever.
No,
What a story.
that like gave me butterflies.
That's
that was
so
so
fun.
cute.
That's so cute.
I think I loved the text at the end. That's hilarious.
I think that's a great text.
Very flirty. He clearly was getting his flirt on the plane. I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't know why she didn't respond.
I don't know why she didn't respond either. Is there like did the number go wrong?
Did you
I'm
check
like,
the
how in the
number?
world? Yeah.
Did it say it got delivered?
Now
Did it turn green?
The only thing was she looking for more on the flight? Was she looking for a little bit more of like write your number back on the napkin, put it back on her tray? I don't know.
No, because I think this is the perfect amount because you don't need to I mean, it's probably a long flight. He didn't. Did he
Four
say-
and a half hours.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
You can't keep this up all night. It's a long ass
yeah.
flight.
The next one.
She
would've
also
been
was doing her job. You know what I'm saying?
of
You
course,
can't.
yeah.
If it's a passenger, that's a different thing. You got to keep the interaction going. She's actually working, so you can't go interrupt her and be flirting while she's trying to do her job. And she also probably was put herself out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a perfect amount of time. You get the rental car, you text her almost immediately instead of waiting a day. It's
I do too. Yeah, the immediate thing. And you didn't say what are you doing tonight? It was hey, if you want to grab a drink, I'm here for the month. We both live. I think it was a perfect text.
mm-hmm.
I don't know where it seemed to go wrong, unless there's something else that we don't have for context in the story. I don't think you bricked this.
Here's my question. Now
Yeah.
that we've established he didn't brick it, if he's still there, and this is a recent question, and he's still there for the month, do you text her again?
Randy has an opinion.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think there's that you
Do you
go.
send a little missing some headphones?
Oh yeah, send her a screenshot of you watching a movie and it's like, man, could use some headphones.
Yeah, just something.
Something, yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to be funny. You could just be like, "Are you free for a drink?"
Yeah, I think you get one
Hey, it's
more
plain guy.
one more completely unrelated text. You don't be like, hey, weird that you didn't follow up with me.
Yeah, you just follow up one more time.
One more, you get one more. If that's out, then done, right?
Yeah.
You get two.
But I totally agree. You have nothing to lose. It's not like she's gonna be like, "What a stalker." She gave you her number
On a napkin.
on a napkin
With a
with
heart.
a heart.
Have you ever had an experience like that?
A couple, yeah.
I mean, what an ego boost.
Yeah.
I've had a waitress before, like, leave my check with like, thank you so much, number, smiley face. I was like, hell yeah.
I gave my number to a waiter one time.
I've also done that.
Only once though.
And she texted me.
We
This was,
ended
like,
up
the day before
texting
I
and then
moved
I
from New York
literally
City.
was like, you know what? Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
The day before I moved from New York City, I almost felt bad. I was like, well, we had a great dinner. It was me. It wasn't just me solo. It was me and my buddy that actually got me into mushrooms. Shouts to Matt. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Me, Matt, his now wife, and just the three of us had a great dinner. The waitress was awesome. And I was like, you know what? We had a great rapport. I'm going to leave my number. She texted me, and I moved like 3 days later. Never met up.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad about it, honestly.
I did this. It was actually like right before I met Will.
Yeah.
I was in Austin for the weekend because at the time I was living in Houston, and I was with one of my sisters, and I was like super flirty with this waiter. Like gave him my number. We started texting, and then he asked me if I wanted to come hang out with him and his roommate while they like played guitar, and I was like,
ooh, go to the Mojo Dojo.
Absolutely not.
Casa Dojo.
Do I not want to do that? Because nothing makes me more uncomfortable than people playing live music directly to me. Like,
Yeah. Oh, not
the
good.
only situation when that is gonna like, I would be okay with that. It'd be like John Mayer only. Like,
Okay.
I think if Will played me a song on guitar, I would have to divorce him. I get so
Oh, no.
uncomfortable.
I knew this one guy. He instead of leaving his number on the check, he actually made the waitress origami out of his napkin.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you joke about that. That was just like I made one.
Oh, it was
Randy.
Now I learned how to make a legit origami rose, and every single time I give it out, girls fucking love it.
I would go for origami. That'd be pretty tight.
You know, Brett actually played guitar to me one time on his balcony. It was just me and
Did
him,
I?
and he just started strumming.
But it wasn't like a romantic situation. I get so uncomfortable with that. I can't handle it. We got to keep this short. So I'm going to just say, you didn't brick this. Reach out one more time.
I like it.
Follow up with us.
You know, it's not short.
You know what he could do.
He could invite her over for some Green Chef is
For
what he
some
could
Green
do.
Chef.
They are the #1 meal kit for eating clean. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes. I don't know why I said it like that. Featuring fresh ingredients with nothing artificial. Choose from recipes featuring lean proteins like turkey and sockeye salmon, barramundi, tilapia, scallops, and shrimp. Certified organic whole fruits, vegetables, and eggs with plenty of whole grain options. Sally, I'm a big Green Chef fan.
As am I.
They literally give you the tools to be your own boss. They give you the ingredients. They package awesome recipes. They have taught me how to be a chef. They have taught me. Why am I saying chef like with a T? They've taught me to be more advanced in the kitchen. I feel much better about myself. That I'm not just making.
Also like going within the constraints of whatever your diet are. So like
Exactly.
if you want to be keto or like pescatarian, like Will.
A little pesco.
Then you can like request those recipes within whatever your constraints are,
And
which is great.
It's not just like they have kale salads, which are fantastic, but they have. I'm looking at their menu right now. Caramelized onion cheeseburgers.
Oh, I've had those. Those are delightful.
Delightful. Coconut shrimp noodle bowls. Oh, I would crush one of those right now. Mostly because I didn't
Have you had
lunch.
the maple butternut squash risotto?
I have not, but I need to.
It screams fall.
That sounds so good. That sounds so good. So here's the thing. Eat clean the easy way with the recipes that help manage your weight and support your wellness goals without skimping on flavor. Here's the deal. For Green Chef's best deal of the year, are you ready for this, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Get $250 off with code MAIL250 at greenchef.com
That's a screaming Black Friday deal.
greenchef.com/mail250 for $250 off when you use code MAIL. Again, for Green Chef's best deal of the year. Get $250 off with code MAIL250 at greenchef.com/mail250. I might be using that deal. That is screaming. You're right. Sally, you ready?
Yeah, I'm going to skip one and then I'm going to go to the next one.
Okay.
And then if you want to go back to that one, you can.
Deal.
But I want to read this one. Sorry, just
Hey.
calling it audible. Okay. Any advice on how to accept changing holiday traditions as you grow up? I have such great memories of the holidays as a kid, and the last few years just haven't brought the same feelings because of family growing apart, smaller gatherings, and such. This is very topical, I feel like, for both of us, but it's something that I feel like I think about every year at the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you grow up, and it probably started happening when I was like getting out of college.
Okay.
Because college, you're still like going home for the holidays.
Mhm.
And if you are in like a traditional family setup, you still are like enjoying the holidays in like some sort of traditional manner, and you have all this time off. So you like get to do holiday shit, like watch movies and like go see lights or whatever the hell you want to do.
Of course.
And then you grow up and maybe you graduate or you move away from your family or whatever happens, and you start realizing like, oh, I'm not having these like picture perfect holidays that I did as a child.
Yeah.
And it seems like everyone else is. And like, what the hell's wrong with my family that like we barely can like stand each other for 10 minutes or, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
that really started hitting me in my mid 20s where I would like watch Christmas movies and be like, what the fuck? Like,
Mhm.
why can we not have this like cozy
Perfect
holiday?
Christmassy holiday.
Right.
Like,
And then you realize like no one's having that.
Yeah.
And I think that that was a lot of my mid 20s was being like, why are we not this like perfect holiday family?
Mm-hmm.
And like lamenting that. And then as I got older and now have kids of my own, I realized like, oh, my holidays as a child were very magical because my parents made it that way.
Yeah.
And now the responsibility lies with me, but also knowing as an adult, like holidays are as much as you can kind of make of them, but also every time you sit there and compare of like what everyone else's looks like and you think like, oh, they're not as magical for me because I'm like super busy with my job or I have a totally different family landscape than I did, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or I live on the other side of the country and can't go back home. Everyone is dealing with that in their own way.
Mhm.
And I think that's really important to remember because I think it's really easy to like lose the magic of the holidays and get really like jaded and cynical as you get older.
Yeah.
Because you're not living like the picture perfect, like what we see in movies anymore. And the reason that we were all led to believe that that's how it's supposed to be is because we watched it in movies and our parents made us feel like that.
Absolutely.
Which was great. And I hope I can give that to my children,
Mhm.
but I also don't want them to like grow up. Like speaking from experience, and obviously you have a totally different experience than me right now, but like I come from a huge family where I'm like, okay, like we're all gonna get there on Christmas Eve and like enjoy each other's company and like drink hot chocolate and like have mimosas in the morning. You know what actually happens? Since we all live in Austin, we like go the 45 minutes out to my parents' house for an hour and then everyone's like, can we get the fuck out of here now?
Yeah.
Like no one, because we all have our own shit to do. And it's not even that we don't want to spend time with each other. It's just like, oh, I've got to take care of my child or like I need to go check on the dog or we're leaving town tomorrow. So this like whole like idea that I had of like, we're going to be in Christmas jammies. We're going to have eggnog, like never happens.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, also that's not happening for any of my other friends.
Yeah. Totally.
Even when you're at the Instagram picture is happening.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like the movie is distilled into the 2 hours of Christmas bliss. And
Yes.
like, it's obviously not. And Hallmark exists for a reason because it's almost like this utopian,
Like mythical society.
mythical
Yeah.
Christmas, like Thomas Kincaid
Yes.
painting that people live in, right? It's a snow globe.
Yeah.
Which doesn't like you can have parts of it and moments of it. Like I'm writing an article right now that I think will go in next week's newsletter. It's about the magic of Christmas and losing it as you kind of pass, like for me, it was like 10, 12.
Yeah. Once you
For-
stop believing in Santa, it really goes
really,
down.
that's like, it's certainly part of it. Randy, sorry.
Randy, I'm sorry we messed that up.
But the change of it, like how do you handle the change of it is know that you're not alone in going through the emotions of like losing the nostalgia impact
Yeah.
factor as families grow apart, and in my case grows smaller.
Yeah.
And so I think the way where you put your energy with the holidays moving forward is either creating new traditions for yourself or creating environments and traditions, like you said, for your kids
Yeah.
or your nieces and nephews, or like making sure that they have that magic for as long as possible.
Well, and I was going to say exactly what you're saying. Create your own magic. And
Yeah.
if that's all of your friends continuing the tradition of going out to a bar on December 23rd, or
absolutely.
if it's having the same Merriman Christmas cocktail hour, like being with your quote found family, or maybe it's something you do by yourself where you just take a trip by yourself, or
No
like
doubt.
you do the same, like exactly make your own tradition, or with your friends or with whatever family members you have who care, or whatever you want to do. Like one of the things that Lily and I do every year now is we will watch like Hallmark movies just randomly throughout the month of December and text each other about it. And I like look forward to it, even though it's not really like a tradition that we're even doing together. We're just texting each other, talking shit about Hallmark movies. But I really enjoy that dynamic of our relationship for the month that we have it together.
Of course, absolutely.
So small things. And maybe you're not believing in Santa anymore, except for Randy. But you can still do fun things. You can still like go to the light show. God, please don't go to the Mozart light show. It sucks. Next to our house. Or you can, do the Christmas bar with your friends every year.
Yeah.
Even if it's like something you're trying out new, go on a trip by yourself, whatever it is, like you make it for yourself with the people who want to participate around you.
Exactly. And know that as we get older, I feel like the moments of Christmas bliss or whatever that magic is that you can't really remind, or you don't really can't really explain it, but you can create environments and create situations that give you like you can get that the glimpse of it. You can get the little hit of it. It's not like when we were kids where it's like all encompassing. It's just a blanket of Christmas magic.
Yeah.
But you can still find those hits.
Yeah.
And that's kind of enough to keep me going. Like I do my Christmas village, for example, is something my grandma has always been like huge on. Exactly. My mom was into it.
Yeah.
But my grandma builds like a city. Like they're like civil engineers a city. And I have taken that sort of torch and run with it because it reminds me of my grandma's house. And unfortunately, she's selling her house after this year. So this is gonna be my last Christmas.
The last Christmas village Christmas.
The last Christmas in like the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take every moment and cherish it, obviously. But it's just one of those things that when it's complete and like the sun goes down and you have the glow of the village on the wall, it gives you a sense of like it snaps you back to 7 years old when you're like everything is perfect, everything's fine. I've gone through a lot of life since then, and life events, but it's those little moments that you create yourself to either snap you back or create something new. Like I've gone to dinner on New Year's Eve a couple times the last couple of years. Like my dad was sick. I couldn't really go out to bars and stuff like that. So I went to a dinner on New Year's Eve and just had like a really big, like solo sushi dinner. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And just like that, sort of like that tradition that I was grateful for what I had right now and grateful for the life I had kind of built for myself, but all kind of grounded in finding those moments of Christmas nostalgia and holiday nostalgia. So I think we kind of summed it up the right way is make new ones or create environments that help give you a hit of old ones.
And don't beat yourself up for feeling this way.
Totally.
Now we have like responsibilities. that our parents probably had that we didn't realize.
Exactly.
On that note, I'm hopefully getting my Christmas decorations for my parents this weekend because they have to keep it at their house. We don't have room for ours.
There you go.
And I would like to put up our tree pre-Thanksgiving. I know it's controversial, but here's my argument. One, I am going to be home this whole Christmas season.
Yep.
Because of maternity leave. And so I'm like, I want to enjoy the hell out of it. And it's going to be cold. I want to start a fire. I'm going to make the magic for myself.
I'm doing it, Sally. My Saturday, you're looking at Christmas bread. And I wanted to, usually like our family was always the Saturday after Thanksgiving was like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Get the tree up, get the decorations up. The last couple of years, I have been going places for Thanksgiving and going places early in December. So of the 6 weeks of Christmas apartment I could have, that's like pre-Christmas.
You're like
kind of
gone for a lot of it.
I was there for maybe 3.5 of it. So I'm deciding to extend a little further into November. But I wanted to wait for a cold front.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I was tempted to do it last weekend.
It's hard to do it when it's 80 out.
Yeah. It just doesn't have the same hit to it. So I'm waiting for this Saturday. Yeah. Keep an eye out for the Merriman Christmas tree.
I'm hopefully going to make the trek out to my parents' house to go get our tree.
There you go. I'll do this one really quick, and then we'll do the last one.
Okay.
Hey guys, sub-30s washed question for Randy and Brett. Hair routine, face routine. Y'all look good. What are we doing?
Wow.
Sally, you've been told to sit this one out by this lovely writer. What's your hair and face routine?
Face routine is I just use Neutrogena for men. I don't think that
Do you know what it is? Is it a moisturizer? Is it a face wash?
It's a face lotion. It just it has a little SPF 15 in it.
There you go. Every day, SPF, baby.
I wouldn't even consider that my face is that good. So thank you. That's a little ego boost there. I also do like a deep sea mud mask.
Wow.
Whoa. Hold on, that was like a throwaway comment.
Yeah,
but
you're supposed to do it like once every 3 days, but
okay.
But I do it maybe like twice a month.
There you go. I like that, Randy.
When he's feeling fancy.
The hair routine is really just finding the proper paste or whatever that you did. Once Brett's told me that he started using a hair dryer and I started using it, my hair went from good to great. In my opinion,
you got a little volume in there.
You got to use a hair dryer. It's amazing.
Very much agree, Randy. Very much agree. I'll go quick too. For the hair, it is shampoo, condition once a week, maybe more if I've been doing a lot of hot yoga or hockey, but it's keep your natural oils in there, guys. 2, blow dry to your hair being dry. 3, it's a little salt spray. 4, for me, it's a pomade, like a clay paste if I'm doing hair product.
I use the Axe Messy paste.
There you go. Depends on your hair type, depends on your hair fineness, right? And then for me, a little hairspray. Lock it all in. Got to lock it up sometimes, Randy. Skin, I go exfoliate in the shower, not every day, but whenever I kind of feel like it, into a youth serum for the just face. I do under eye, caffeine, drop things, and then a SPF moisturizer. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, if anybody needs a face routine, this is like the basic normal. Mm-hmm. You probably don't need to wash your face twice a day. Personally, I think that I do it at night and then I'm done, but you can do both. Vitamin C in the morning, SPF 30, Randy, at least. SPF 30 and then moisturizer.
Boom. And then moisturizer will help you a lot.
Yeah. And then at night, you can do anything that is like, do your face wash, do like a hyaluronic acid serum.
Now we're cooking.
And then do a night cream, like a thick cream, because again, moisture. But if you're wanting anti-aging, you're going to have to do some vitamin C for brightening. So SPF absolutely is like the number one tool you have. Mm-hmm. And then you can get into you can come join me, the retinol uglies.
Retinol, I'm dipping my toe in the water for sure.
Yeah. But you do it like once every couple days.
Oh, yeah.
So you
it's
don't
not
burn
every
the
day.
fuck out of your skin.
Biotin gummies too.
for your hair. But the one thing I will say for guys, because I'm like dealing with this with Will right now, is like I think y'all kind of get away with like not having to do anything ever, and then you reach a point where Will's starting to get to as he's like approaching late 30s, where you're like, oh shit, I probably should do something. So while you have your youth, while you're sub 30, actually start doing anti-aging stuff, because we all should have probably been doing it like at 20. So start it now so that you're not 40 and you're like, well, fuck, I didn't do anything.
There you go. Last one, Sal. You want to hit it?
Yeah. Hi, Mailing Crew. Is it lame to go to our 10-year high school reunion? Ours is coming up in a few weeks, and most of my friends are on the fence about going. On one hand, I already make an effort to regularly see and talk to the people I care about. Also, driving 4 hours on a prime football Saturday to attend feels like a lot of effort. On the other hand, life is short, and it could be a chance to reconnect with friends who I've lost touch with. Would like to know your thoughts. Thanks.
So that's the biggest thing with high school reunions, is that they have changed because of social media.
Yeah.
It used to be like the chance to reconnect with people.
You like find out what people are doing.
Now you know what people are doing. You know what people look like. You know who people are with. You know if people have kids. It's like, it's changed in its level of importance.
Did you go to yours?
That being said, I went. I would not have gone to Saratoga for it.
Right.
I got to be honest with you. I happened to be there. Had friends in town who were gonna go, and had a blast. I think like 60 of us ended up going. It was a pretty good crew. Mostly people that I had stayed in contact with, but it's cool to see the couple that you just kind of hadn't kept in touch with. But I went. I don't know if I would have driven 4 hours to go.
Yeah.
I'd be on the fence. I'm not flying. I probably would swing the drive because it's in Saratoga. I could have stayed and had done other stuff. So I probably, I would go. I don't think it's like the end of the world if you don't. I get that people are like, oh, it's true to go to, but I think if you can and you're in driving distance, I think you make it happen. How about you?
I did not go to mine.
Yeah.
I wasn't driving distance.
It's a different though. I feel like it's different if you stay in like the Austin area and you grew up in the Austin area, went to high school in the Austin area.
Yeah,
right?
And not for any particular reason. I think that I just was kind of like, my friends from high school weren't going to go.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like feel the need. I probably should have gone. I was like supposed to be on the planning committee for it, because like our student council senior year is supposed to be the people who planned.
Gotcha.
Whoops, did not do that. I'm like much more. I think there's two camps of people. Mm-hmm. There's people who are really close to their high school friends, and there's people who are really close to their college friends.
Sure.
I fall into the really close to my college friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like you're one or the other. I think you can be both, but like Will still keeps in touch with like all of his friends that he grew up with.
I'm more on that scale too.
Whereas like I keep in touch with all the people I went to college with.
Gotcha.
And I have like a couple close high school friends that I like keep in touch with, but I was like didn't really have a desire, and I kind of feel the same way. Like people that I like would have talked to, I already like saw, because of where I'm in Austin. I don't feel strongly about it either way. Fair. Like if I had a really good high school crew or like people that I wanted to see, I would have gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like one of those critical mass things. I feel like if you're the only one of your friend group going, it's like I'd rather not. If you have 6 or 7 guys that are like, oh, let's go, and we'll go to the reunion for a little while, then we'll go out to a bar or somebody's like parents' house and have a dinner. Like then
do it.
Yeah, treat it like a homecoming if you can. If it's not going to work out that way, then maybe you take it off.
But I exactly what you said. I don't think it's chuggy to go. I also don't think you're like sticking it to anybody by not going. So go if you want.
We had to like buy tickets to ours. That was the only thing I was annoyed by. I was like, just have
ours was at like this like country bar that is like very well known for just being kind of like super laid back, and then they wanted us to buy like $75 tickets for like 2 drink tickets. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
sorry.
The people, and no offense, like student council was not in charge. Student council was like the federal thing, and then we had class president was different than student council. So
actually that was what ours was too.
Yeah, so our class people were responsible. So us on the student council side of it were like not part of it.
Yeah.
But, they originally wanted to have it at like a country, like a banquet. I was like, that's not gonna work. Have it at a bar. Tell people to show up. If they do, great. If not, no worries.
Yeah.
Randy, I feel like you're
as a person that I was on the planning committee for ours because I wanted to get involved and I did fly in. Pretty much I made sure that all of my friends were going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then that's fun.
And of a like graduating class of like 1,000 kids, I think
That's crazy.
I think maybe like 25 people showed up.
Oh,
and half of them were my friends. So it was like reality was just us all getting back together and then some other people from high school. So if you can get all your friends, just treat it as getting
your
friend
friend reunion. Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly.
Done. That's going to do it for us today, Sally. You have a good time?
I had a great time.
Me too. Thank you, Randy, for the ones and twos and the commentary. We'll be back next week on the Mail-In Podcast. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on both of those platforms, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.